Welcome to the basic privacy and security training for all DoD, GSA, or NASA contractors with access to personally identifiable information. Annual privacy training is required for all contractor personnel who handle personally identifiable information, or PII. Privacy training for contractors has very specific requirements, including annual comprehension testing. There are currently 5 videos in the Contractor PII training series. Basic privacy and security videos include the free version you are watching, along with a commercial version that includes the mandatory archiving and comprehension testing. Additional training is required for managers and IT staff. Advanced training includes review of local policies tailored to meet local conditions. Advanced training for managers and IT staff includes local adaptations for advanced or specialized policies and procedures. Minimum training requirements include a review of the Privacy Act as well as review of the policies and procedures necessary to protect PII to an acceptable level. We start this training with an overview of the Privacy Act. The Privacy Act has 4 major goals. First is to restrict disclosure of personal information to authorized persons. The second objective is to allow individuals to access agency records about themselves. The third objective is to allow individuals to change erroneous information in their own federal records. And finally, the Privacy Act set out to establish a code of fair information practices throughout the federal government. The Privacy Act has significant penalties. Any officer or employee of an agency, including any contractor, who willfully discloses information to a person not authorized for that information shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and fined not more than $5,000. Similarly, any person who attempts unlawful access to personal information is subject to a fine. Personally identifiable information has a very specific legal definition. In summary, data to be protected is anything that might be useful to a hacker or damaging to a client. This includes any personally identifiable individual, medical, or financial information. Protected individual information, or PII, is anything that can be used to identify an individual, from name to email address. The current list includes 18 items. As new forms of personally identifiable information evolve, it can be expected that this list of 18 items will expand accordingly. It is worth noting that both vehicle information and images are on the list of PII. The next consideration is what is included in privacy and security training. Since 1996, the National Institute of Standards and Technology has been assigned to define information security for all sensitive but non-classified data throughout the federal system. Federal regulators call the NIST protocols the industry standard for protecting information. Basic privacy and security training is required of all individuals with access to protected information. Basic safeguards closely follow general NIST recommendations. More advanced training courses include local safeguards that may differ from the general NIST approach due to local conditions. In addition, managers, technical staff, and advanced users typically require additional training. This privacy and security protection program is closely based on the recommendations and protocols of the National Institutes for Standards and Technology, or NIST. All associates handling personally identifiable information have a legal responsibility to protect that information. Security training for associates includes review of each of these initial safeguards. Secure handling of personally identifiable information is covered by 3 documents: the NIST Cybersecurity Framework and supporting documents NIST Special Publications 800-53 and 800-171. This summary graph shows the information security risk status of a network with only basic safeguards in place. Typically, moderate risks, shown in yellow, are allowed by regulators to have 1 year for remediation. Fully securing a computer network to NIST standards will require additional safeguards and be covered in the advanced videos in this series. This inventory table lists the 33 safeguards needed for minimum protection of PII. Only some of these safeguards are covered in this basic video. There are NIST information security safeguards that need to be followed by contractors under the NIST information security protocols. Assigned safeguards will depend on job descriptions. Failure to follow these precautions can result in unauthorized release of protected information and damage to organizations and clients. The access control policy must be distributed to all associates with access to protected information. Current best practice is to use 12-character or longer passwords that cannot be shared. The network should automatically assign data authorizations to different levels of staff. Staff should not attempt to bypass their authorizations to get access to other portions of the network. Attempts at unauthorized access should trigger alarms and may result in disciplinary action. AC 17 covers access control policy for remote access. Best practice is to allow remote access, if at all, only through secure channels like HTTPS or VPN. All remote access connections should pass through an IDS. The organization needs a guidance policy for all portable and mobile devices, from phones to thumb drives. At a minimum, all mobile or portable devices should be encrypted. There should be no exceptions. Privacy and security training needs to happen before first access, when changes are made to the system, and at least once per year thereafter. Different data systems are subject to different threats. The security and privacy training materials should be customized based on threats to the specific local system, rules of use, and group security policies. Users need to be trained to meet their emergency roles, even if the role is only to stand by. Training should happen every year. There are computer programs which can realistically imitate an actual emergency. Contingency plan training is not a trivial task and may take a full day or even longer. There should be no access without user authentication. Authentication can use passwords, tokens, biometrics, or a variety of combinations of these methods. At a minimum, strong passwords are required. Biometrics are increasingly cost-effective and hard to defeat. Authentication of authorized devices as well as users adds a substantial extra layer to system security. An incident response policy needs to be updated at least annually and given to all associates. The policy must state objectives, responsible parties, and assigned tasks. Like emergency response, incident response procedures require training at least annually. Maximum realism yields maximum training value. The incident handling plan needs to include preparation, containment, and recovery procedures. Incident handling procedures will typically include a short manual with incident reporting forms. Lost media, such as thumb drives, laptops, backup tapes, are a major source of information breaches. The organization needs to write a media protection policy that is given to all associates and is updated at least annually. Protection strategies need to include controlled access, ensured destruction, and strong encryption. Media access needs to be restricted to authorized users who have met the access control requirements. Transport of unencrypted media should be avoided. Delivery should be hand-to-hand between authorized persons. Media should never be left for pickup. Sanitization of hard drives requires special equipment and software. The NSA keeps a list of approved products for this use. Mechanical destruction can also be effective. Physical access to protected information is a more common source of information loss than electronic access. A Boston hospital was fined $1 million after an employee left a stack of medical records on a train. Furniture should be arranged to make it impossible for persons in walkways to read data on computer screens. Failure to comply with information security procedures will result in sanctions up to and including termination. Violation of information security procedures can result in severe consequences for both the organization and the employee. Virus and malware protection is critical for operations handling sensitive information. Testing is the last part of this privacy and security training program. Comprehension testing is required for all contractors handling personally identifiable information and is available on the commercial version of this training program. This free instructional video is only the beginning of the training required for contractors handling personally identifiable information. To obtain more information on privacy and security training for contractors, email info@acr2solutions.com or visit our website. Thank you.